Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. For those of you all that do not know me, my name is Jeremy. I am the founder of J&J Erotic Vibes. I am also a ghostwriter and content creator. I have curated this phenomenal series with the sensational coach Kima, who will be joining me today for another episode of Erotic Therapy. And let me just get into it a little bit and share with you what erotic therapy is. For those of you all that might not know what my journey of self care and self love looks like, I started this page out of inspiration for just not only being in tune with who I am, growing, but also learning how to court, date, and talk to women that actually perceive how I am approaching them in a manner, in a way that is acceptable for my growth and development as a young man in our society today. So I'm super excited to collaborate and partner with some phenomenal women that are giving me their perspective. And today, every Wednesday, we have a phenomenal series that is called Erotic Therapy. And my co-host, Miss Coach Kima, who is will be joining us, will be talking about some very spicy fantasies that she has given us throughout the week. Each week, she'll give us a phenomenal tip, and she'll actually come on live with me every Wednesday, and we'll explore that topic. I see that she has joined. Whenever you join the live or whenever you're watching the replay, I want you to drop where you're from, drop your questions in the comment box or in this circle box right here with the questions on it. I really look forward to hearing from you each and every week. I will be dropping some consistent content, so I'm looking forward to engaging and just being able to interact with you all on a daily and weekly basis. Shout out to everyone that's starting hard and going hard for quarter two. We just started it this past weekend. This upcoming weekend is going to be Easter Sunday, so I want to shout out to all of you all who will be celebrating Resurrection Sunday. So I appreciate you all. So I'm waiting on Coach Kima. Whenever she gets ready, she's going to join the live. But today we're going to be talking about some spicy fantasies. Like I said, she's going to be giving us some tips on how we could be able to set a expiration date, is what I like to call it, for our erotic fantasies. And I'm going to be talking about some great ways that we can kind of be able to depict those fantasies and imagination. So I'm super excited to have this phenomenal conversation with this phenomenal woman. So when you all get a chance, go ahead and sit back and relax and enjoy the show. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Can't complain at all.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, I'm glad to have you back for another episode of the Erotic Therapy series. So I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself for those that might not know who you are and that want to learn more about you.
So, hi, I am Coach Kima. I am a sexual intimacy coach. I specialize in helping women and couples create healthy relationships and sexual fulfillment. In short, is I want you to be happy, but I also want you to be having sex. I want everybody in the family to be happy, but I also want you to be enjoying the actual partnership, the union. So that's more so what I'm about. I'm about keeping the family together, but also being a freak, being able to do whatever you feel like you need to get done when you're with your partner. I know in a lot of relationships, people are more prone to do things with outside people because it's like, oh, I can't do my wife like that, or I can't tell my husband I want this to happen. I can't tell the person I'm going to spend my life with I am into this. But those are the people that you should be pouring those fantasies on. Like, listen, I wanted to do this, this, and this before I was gone away from here. So how are we going to get this done? And that will bring you closer. That will allow intimacy to grow, connection to grow. And I think it's super important in relationships just for you to be able to be authentic. When you suppress your desire, that turns into something else. It can
Yes.
turn into frustration, irritation, a whole lot of problems in a relationship. So being able to be your authentic self inside and outside of the bedroom is super important to me.
And that's phenomenal. And I love that you said that, being able to be yourself inside and outside the bedroom, because I do believe that those fantasies and those desires start outside of the bedroom. So that's great. And for those of you all that don't know me, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself briefly. My name is Jeremy Wade. I am an erotic ghostwriter, founder of J&J Erotic Vibes. Super excited to be here with you all today, this afternoon, hump day. So what we're going to be discussing, I want to get right into it because it's a phenomenal topic, and you gave a great tip on it earlier this week. So go ahead and introduce that tip that you gave us and tell us what that all was about.
Okay, so the tip that I gave this week was for you to take 3 fantasies, you and your partner, 3 apiece, write them down, shake them up in a hat, and pick out 2. And the reason why I want you to pick out 2, because some people might say, well, that's a whole lot. But if you up for the challenge, you can do all 6. But I want you to put a date on it. A lot of times we say we want to do this, we want to try that, we want to be more of this, and we want to do more of that. But we never actually get to it because we don't put dates on things. So even in relationships, when you are setting bedroom goals, you have to make sure that you put a date on it. So say you say, I want to try such and such position. What date do we have to get this done? It's not we're gonna throw it out there and never get it done. No, what date? Okay, we're gonna do this within the next 2 weeks. We're gonna take some time. We're gonna look up the position. We can see the numerous ways that we can put the position into our session. And then we're going to actually go for it. We're going to actually get to know ourselves in this position, get to know the different ways that we can receive pleasure in this position. So that is the whole point of putting a date on it.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And for me, when I think about putting a date on it, I think about food, because like there's a lot of expiration dates when it comes to buying food, and you have to use that food or eat that food in a period of time, or else it'll go bad. And I think that's how we should think about our sex lives and intimate lives as well, because if you're not being able to, I would say, just be active within that moment. It doesn't have to be physical or sexual. It can be in a way that is emotional, mental, or spiritual. But if you're not like provoking that sense of almost like companionship, I think you can lose that and it can go out of date. So definitely, I definitely appreciate that. And I wanted to kind of ask you some questions, because I know that being able to actually put a date on a fantasy is something that will ultimately provoke the imagination. So why do you think provoking the imagination outside and inside of the bedroom is important?
So with putting the date on, you also have to realize that we are in seasons of our life. So where you may have started off 25 to 30, you may love doggy style. So you're trying to try positions that are relevant to doggy style. But at 30, you might be like, no, I want to look you in your eyes. So that is the importance of putting a date on it too, because everything has an expiration date, like you said. So if you don't get to it, you will never know whether you actually enjoyed it or not, because now you're on to something else. And when it comes to putting it with your imagination, okay, if I tell my partner, hey, we want to do this, we're going to get this done by such and such date, of course it's going to be some, oh, I can't wait to try this. How many times can I come in this position? How many ways can we do it? How many days can we do it? How many ways can we implement this in order so we both can receive the pleasure in it? It's more planning that goes into it. And if you are in like my Patreon, we talk about the planning. Some people, that is a part of their sex language. It's actually planning, them feeling like, oh, you desired me enough to plan this for us. So that is important in a relationship, because everybody want to feel like, oh, you actually took the time out to dedicate to research this, to see how this could help us, to see what different ways we can improve this, what we was doing wrong, what we was doing right, how we can switch it up and do it ourselves to actually provide pleasure for us particularly. So that is super important when it comes to the imagination part. And that's going to start outside the bedroom. Of course, when you're in the bedroom, you're imagining, but you're supposed to be more in the moment and not actually imagining what's going down. When you at work or throughout the day and all of that, when you just walk past your partner and rub them, it's like, yeah, I can see him doing me like this, or I can see me doing her like this.
I like that. I love that. And so you mentioned one thing that caught my attention. You mentioned sex language. Can you talk about the difference between sex language and love language for a second?
um it's just what it is. So like your love language is basically how you like to be shown love. Your sex language is basically how you like to be given pleasure, the before care, the after care, the during. A lot of times we only focus on the during, like, okay,
Mm,
we got to put it all in this moment, but it's more to it than that. If you don't properly provide aftercare for a woman, her womb can start rejecting you. She can start feeling anxiety. She can start feeling depressed if you don't provide the right amount of before care. Then she's not going to be aroused. He's not going to be aroused. He's not going to be into it. It's going to be like we
yeah.
both just like, okay, we get this
Wham,
over
bam.
because
Thank you, ma'am.
you didn't take the time to actually enjoy the moment, to get into the moment fully. And we are not taught that. So when I first started doing my research and I started tapping into what I was actually gonna do, and I realized that you've never heard about sex languages. I know I had never heard about sex languages, and once I started doing research, it was more so like, oh, now okay, I can see why I enjoy these things. I can see why I like these things. I can see why I need these things. And it's super important for people to realize that sometimes it's not necessarily a want when it comes to sex. Sometimes it's I need these things in order for my body to actually perform the way you want it to perform, or perform the way I want it to perform. For me to get the amount of orgasms that I want to get, I need these things in order to move forward. And a lot of people don't realize that. So sex languages, I feel like that's one of the most important languages. You have sex, you have love, the communication styles, the attachment styles, all of that is going to play a part in your relationship. And if you don't have those down pat, you're going to see some rockiness in a relationship because you're going to be fighting to try to figure out, how am I supposed to do this? Like we go into things with the sex part and it's like, I'm going to give them the sex that I desire. You can't do that. And that's the whole part of the sex language. So you know how to plan a night. You know how to start it maybe in the daytime. How you maybe got to start it Monday for Friday. You know how to work those things around your partner because you will understand what they need to feel desire and pleasure more.
Yes, that makes so much sense. I think one of the reasons I started this brand too was to be able to kind of switch my perspective on like how I approach the pleasure of a woman and not just being able to focus on that during. You mentioned the before and the after. I even while writing for the past couple of weeks these stories, like I'm thinking about, okay, how can we shower before? How can we eat after? How can we be able to just almost just like be able to feel like I feel like when I've had sex before, um, afterwards, I feel the same way as I felt before, and I feel like that shouldn't feel like that. I feel like maybe taking a shower before and maybe taking a shower after or eating after and just being able to actually just feel myself like it's almost like getting gas. Like you can't go into sex on E. You got to go in there full and feeling. I would say feeling replenished. That feeling that we get after taking a shower is so refreshing. It's like after a workout, all your body feels clean. Like who doesn't want to go into sex with their body feeling like clean, like the skin and all of that. So like, and then when you think about it, after a shower, when your skin is so smooth, it's gonna be that body to body contact is just gonna hit different, don't you think?
Yeah, and everybody is going to need something different. So where a shower may do that for you, you may have people who actually just need to meditate together.
Mm.
I always tell people, if you cannot get outside of your mind, if you are having sex and you are in there like oh my God, I forgot to take the trash. Oh my God, the baby need money for the book fair tomorrow. Oh my God, I forgot to sweep the floor. Oh, wait a minute, he doing this. Oh yeah, that feels good. Wait a minute, no, I ain't put the gas in the car. If you are doing that in sex, you need to meditate before. You need to set your atmosphere before. You need to cleanse your mind before. If you got to do a mind dump, write everything down. Do 30 seconds, 90 seconds, write everything that you're thinking about down. Release that, clear your mind, and be like, I'm finna go ahead and put it down. I'm not going ahead thinking about nothing else, because you don't feel your sensations.
Yeah.
Because when you start feeling it, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't do this, and it's gone. So
It's like giving yourself a pep
yeah,
talk. I can see that.
yeah. And sometimes you have to do that. Now, you do have people who are, it don't matter. They going in that thing. I know what I'm here to do. We finna feel everything in here. But most of the time, we were not taught to separate that. We actually deserve the pleasure. So to separate that pleasure from anything else, like, this is our time as a couple. This is our moment. Enjoy that moment. Don't worry about what didn't get done. Cause guess what? When you finish, it still ain't gonna be done.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, just enjoy your moment. So of course, everybody is going to need something different. That shower may work. It may be certain music that you can listen to. Music is powerful. So if you are in a relationship, I understand we all have our genres of music that we like, but it's a lot of music that you cannot listen to when you're in a relationship. All that F dudes and all of that, that's not going to work if it puts you in a mindset. You have to pay attention to the mindset that stuff puts you in. So if it puts you in a mindset of aggressiveness, that's probably not something you should listen to before. Now, I have had times where it's certain songs, like maybe Boosie Nasty. You can listen to that song, and the things that Lotto is saying, that can put you in the zone to go in there and be like, yeah, I'm finna take you on down, boy. Like, you might as well get ready to go to sleep. But if that's not the feeling that's gonna give you, maybe you shouldn't listen to that. Maybe you need to listen to actual Coco, I See You. Maybe you need to listen to actual music that invokes love, that makes you feel like, oh, I'm beautiful, makes you feel like, oh, I'm sexy. A lot of times women can't get into their sensual side or their sexy side because they are too hard. They're not listening to anything that calms
Wow.
them, that makes them soft.
Nah, definitely. I love that. I love that. I love that. And so you dropping gems. I hope for all of you all that are watching this and watching the replay, I hope you got your notepad out, taking your pen. You highlighting some stuff too as well. For those of you all that are just joining, I want to do a quick reset. Welcome to Erotic Therapy. Every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself and Coach Kima will be here giving you some dope vibes, some dope tips that we really want to take into consideration as you're building a relationship, whether you're single or in a relationship. These are things that you can consider to be able to build emotionally, mentally, and most importantly, sexually, because I know we all have those sexual desires, but we might not know how to act upon them or even get to that point where we're elevating them, because sometimes we can be stagnant as well. So I really want to get into what you just mentioned that really sparked my curiosity as it pertains to music. So when you mention music, myself, I've been big into country lately, because as a writer, all country songs tell stories. So like just being able to, like, in the back of the pickup truck, drinking beer, like they, like, I mean, it's like they tell a story, and it's not like, it's in a way, I know it can be like very sappy and like very, like, I would say a hopeless romantic vibe, but I'm a hopeless romantic, and I'm also a slut. So like I would say, like, being able to hear things like that, it allows me to, like, I would say, clear my mind, versus what you said. Like, I didn't think about it that way. Like, I might be, on my way from the gym, and I might get a booty call, and I'm listening to like Lil Wayne, and it's going and that is like, that's taking me to a place where I'm not supposed to be. Versus if I could have been listening to some Marvin Gaye or some Luther Vandross, not skinny Luther, but big Luther. So like, but yeah, I mean, I definitely understand that. So that's powerful right there, because I mean, I just coming from someone that's had brain surgery and had to kind of like just redevelop, like literally. People always, you hear these videos, you have to retrain your brain. I literally had to do that. So like, I love the fact that you said that, because even these little tips, I'm taking notes. I'm learning, like, okay, now I got to get a whole different playlist now, because it's not going to be the same. So I like that. But I really want to know more about like how I can be able to kind of like actually put these things into play on, let's say, on a consistent basis. Like how can I manage my time if I'm like throughout the day, I work a 9 to 5, I got kids, or I got a wife. How can I be able to manage my time, maybe in a 4 hour span, a 1 hour span? What are some things that, there's a woman out there or a man that's listening, what can they do to manage their time more effectively, to be able to prepare themselves for that night routine, or that nightcap, or that morning cap? Because a lot
Yeah.
of,
So routine, but not routine. So if you know that we put the kids to bed at 9, we have a breakdown period of all of that. If you know that, you know where your day is gonna try kind of flow. So you know what your partner likes to see you in, whether that is a messy bun, a sports bra, some shorts, an actual nightgown. You know what your partner likes to see you in. Now, of course, you have your special days where you may be extravagant with lingerie and all of that. But on a day-to-day basis in a family with a wife, a husband, and kids, you're not gonna put on lingerie every day. I'm not asking you to. I'm not telling you you have to do that, unless there's something that you can actually do. If you got a house full of boys, you can't walk around the house with no
hey, them
lingerie on.
sometimes them sweats hit,
Right,
that ass hit different in them
right,
sweats. It's just
right.
jiggling,
So
and
you
like
know what your partner.
a lot of women be like that imprint for the nigga. I'm like, when I see a woman in some great sweats now, that ass just like jiggling without the panties, like I'm like,
Yeah,
it hit different.
yeah,
It hit different.
yeah. So you definitely know what your partner likes to see you in, how they like to see your hair. Do that for them. Like, you have partners that love to see their women in their glasses and all of that. Do that for them. Put that on. Go ahead, so they know, like, look at her walk around here doing such and such. Men, you make sure you get your shower in. You may walk around with no shirt on. You may put your tank top on and your little basketball shorts. Whatever you do for them to be like, look at my baby. Because we
Yep.
all have a dress down part that we like, ooh, I could eat you up right now.
Yep.
Start that. When it
I
comes
love
to the
that.
music, maybe play some some soft jazz, put on some soft music, or put on something that, I would say, a podcast or something that is talking more so about love, that maybe is debating topics or something like that. But something that's gonna that's gonna spark a conversation in between you and your partner, because some of the best sex you have is going to come after those good debates or good conversations, or just pouring into each other. So kind of spark a conversation. Another thing you can do is having that downtime moment. Come here. We finna sit down, lay down on the bed. We're going to put the phones down. How was your day? I know I asked you when you first got here, but explain to me how your day actually went. Explain to me the emotions you felt. Explain to me whether you struggle with something, whether you felt good about something. Let me know all of those things. And as you communicate and talk to each other, you're going to be more focused on each other. And that is going to open the door for some intimacy. Also, when you're doing this, I've heard people say, well, I tell her how I feel, or I tell him how I feel, and he kind of shrug it off, or he try to tell me that I shouldn't feel this way. You do not have the right to tell your partner how they should and should not feel. So if they telling you today was a struggle because I had to wash all the clothes, I had to take the kids to school, don't minimize their struggle. It was a struggle for them because you don't know whether it really was. Like, okay, I see that you struggled today. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. Validate their feelings. Do not tell them, well, you should not feel like that because I closed $1 million contract today. That was stressful. Don't do that. Don't do that. Validate their feelings, talk them through their feelings, rub on each other, hug on each other, create moments with each other. A lot of times people go to bed and turn their backs, or they get in the bed and they're both sitting there on their phone, or they're both sitting there on their laptop. You cannot do that and expect just wonders of pleasure to come out of that. No, you actually have to get into each other. So make sure you have moments in your night where you get into each other. Leading up to those moments, make sure you have moments during the day where you might stop and be like, just hug me, or just kiss me,
Yeah.
just tell me you love me.
Yeah.
Different things like that is what's gonna spark that pleasure for the night for them to feel like, oh yeah, I can't wait till the night
Yep.
because they see me.
I mean, and it's phenomenal. I pulled up something on my laptop and I want to dive into, but you mentioned something that's so great because I'm someone that way of cuddling where it's like big spoon, little spoon. I don't like that. I want to be able to have my woman be a cover. Like I got big legs because I play soccer. So I like a woman, even if she tall or short, I climb trees. Like I want to be able to hold her. I want to be able to, like be over my thigh and just be able to talk to me, and I can give her soft kisses on the cheek and on the forehead and just be able to hold her. I feel like that's more intimate and that's more what the definition of erotic means to me, because when that vibe and that feeling, because I'm already naturally like warm blooded. So my woman, I already know if she cold, she gonna feel it get warm because like I have like just a natural sense of heat on my body. So I love that cuddling sense and I love that vibe and that frequency, because I always tell people that energy leads to synergy. Like the point where you have that positive energy or that even that negative. I said, if we're in a relationship and you had a bad day, come get these positive vibes. Like both of you all can't be negative when you go into bed. And that when we get into the bed, that's our sanctuary. Like, nah, all phones off, airplane mode, turn it off, whatever. Because that time, it's me and you time. So I love that. But I definitely wanted to dive into some words, because for those of you all that don't know, I'm a writer. So I always look for words that are provocative, that provoke the imagination. So I'm going to tell you 3 words, and I want you to just tell me what's the first things that come to mind. So I have
Before
right.
you do that,
Go ahead.
let me say this. Sometimes it's not going to be a conversation. Sometimes you may have to just lay in the bed for about 10-20 minutes and just hold each other. Just rub each other's back, make each other feel like I got you. Because some days are hard, and it's not necessarily something bad happened. It's just some days are harder than others. Some days you feel like I just want to be cuddled. I just want to be hugged. I just want to ball up in the fetal position and have a moment. And if that is what you or your partner need, grant that moment. Sometimes it's not going to be tell me how you feel, because sometimes words can't explain. Sometimes words can't express the sadness or the anxiety that I'm feeling in the pit of my stomach. Just hold me. Just tell me it's going to be okay. So read the room, know your partner, know what your partner needs. And that's why it's important to make sure that you are studying your partner, because you have to know what they need, whether they just need you to wrap your arms and say, no matter what goes on in this world, baby, I got you. And sometimes that's a pick me up enough. So know your partner.
Love that. I love that. Know your partner. For those of you all that are out there, and what would you say to the single men and women listening to this? What would you tell them to do? Know your what?
Know yourself.
About this.
You have
Say
to
that's
know
like if
yourself
y'all can't fill in the
before.
blank, then come on now, because I'm
It
in
is
that
super
boat now.
important to
I'm in
know
that boat
yourself
now.
before you get into anything, because you're gonna have to explain yourself sometimes. Sometimes, like when it comes to communicating, you may not be able to communicate face to face, and you're gonna have to be able to explain why. Like, baby, one day we will get there, I promise you. But as for right now, I communicate better through this text. Or that's why when you leave, I can just write it all down and give it to you, because I can process my thoughts better. I need you to work with me through this until I'm to the point where I can sit face to face and be like, I feel this, I feel that. And it's going to be steps to that. So you have to know yourself enough to be able to put your partner on the game. Like, I'm not ignoring you, but I need a moment. I'm not avoiding you, but I need a moment. You have to be able to put your partner on the game. And a lot of times that's why relationships tear up, because two individually different people go into relationships thinking that, oh, we just gonna mesh well. No, you're not. No, you're not just gonna mesh well. Some things are gonna be perfect. Some things will be like, I can't stand you in the fact that you do this. So it's getting together and figuring out, this is me, this is you. What can I deal with? What can I not deal with? What can we compromise on? What do we need to change? What do we need to work on? And that is gonna help you when you know yourself, because you'll be able to say, well, I do that, and I do that because of this.
It's great to actually hear that, and I think the reinforcement, and I think the I would say the feedback and the suggestions and advice that I get on a daily basis from just having conversations like this, it definitely gives me a sense of reassurance that I'm on the right path to be able to become the man that I need to be. So I appreciate that. But I really want to tap into these words. And I think I pulled them up right here. Let me make this screen a little bit larger. So right here, I'm going to read. So I have carnal, and then I have intimate, and then I have animalistic.
Okay. All right. So intimate. Now I'm gonna go to animalistic. I don't necessarily believe that unless you are doing something with an animal or you are forcefully taking something, I don't see anything as being animalistic. And the reason why I say that is because different people have different pleasure points. Some people like it real fast and real hard. I need pain. Sometimes that could be a trauma issue, but we're gonna diverse. They need pain. So to them, if they do have somebody that's giving it to them rough, it's not gonna seem animalistic. It's gonna seem like you are providing me pleasure. So unless you are forcefully taking something from someone or you are doing something like very, very bad, I don't feel like there's an animalistic in sex. Because we all have our different moments. Where it's like beat me like a rabbit, and then sometimes it's like slow me down. Like we finna make love, talk to me, tell me you love me, tell me you feel me. So it's all in what a person desires. Now if you have a partner that, and this is why you have to make sure you're sexually compatible. If you have a partner that's more into the rough play and you're not, it's gonna be either some compromising that has to go in there, because to you it might be like he's handling me like an animal, and it's not that he is, just he's more rough, or she's more rough, she's more toss me around and do all of this, but you're more, no, slow this thing down, let's play some soft music, let's do this, let's do that. So at that point, of course it's going to be a compromise, and of course you're going to feel like, oh no, they too rough, they doing this, but it's just because that's not your thing. So knowing what your thing is going to be important.
And I have a follow-up question on that right there. We can stay right there. So, like, in relationships, you mentioned compromise and knowing your thing. So my question to you would be, for those people and those people that are listening too, you can drop it in the comments. But if you go, do you think you're a man or a woman should go into the relationship open-minded when it comes to their sexual preferences, to be able to experience something that they haven't?
To a point. We all know ourselves. So if you know for a fact, all right, I'm just using man because it's very much easier, and most men to be like, oh no. So if you know for a fact as a man that you do not like for your anus to be played with, it's nothing that woman is gonna be able to say to get you into it. But if that is
Not
something
at
she is
all.
into, should she sacrifice her wants because that's not what you want, or should she be like, okay, maybe this relationship is not for me? This is why it's very important to talk about sex up front, so you know what you're into. If she's into pegging her man and you are not into that, that is probably not going to work, because you're going to probably either start feeling pressured, or you're not going to want to do it because you're going to feel like she's going to try me and I'm going to knock her out, and it's not going to be on my purpose. It's not going to be on purpose. Like, it's not going to be my, it's just going to be my bad, because that is like a reaction. Like, I told
It's
you
a
don't go
reflect.
there.
Do you? I want to say something so bad, but I'm not gonna go there. Like I'm not gonna. I'm gonna tell you off camera. I'm gonna tell you off camera.
But like, so that is why it is very important to make sure that you are sexual compatible. I have questions that I give people to ask when they're dating, because it is important. And I know it's like people often say, well, it's more important things than sex. It is, but if you're not going to be sexually fulfilled in a relationship, it's not going to work. It has been factually proven that relationships that have good sex lives work better. And two, if you do not if you don't let that desire go, if you don't feel that amount of pleasure, it's going to get bagged up. And that's going to come out in different ways. That's why sometimes women gain weight around their hips. They are housing different desires. Your sexual energy is your life force. So if you are bagged up in that aspect, guess what else you're going to be bagged up? You're not going to be able to create. You're not
Mm-hmm.
going to be able to function properly because I'm bagged up. So if you
Mm-hmm.
are in a relationship with a person and you're not being fulfilled, that is so like it's going to start causing conflict. So you do have to compromise in relationships when it comes to sex, but not to the point where it's like I got to do something that I don't want to do. Like if you know for a fact I'm not into experimenting, finding somebody that is and trying to make a relationship work, it's probably not going to work for you, and that's not fair to them or you. Like if you know I'm missionary, I'm plain Jane, I don't want to do none of that other stuff. I'm not getting on my knees. I'm not bending over. I just want wham. I want the wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Find you somebody else like that. Because if not, it's gonna be like find you somebody else to play with. Because I like to do such and such such. So yeah, compatibility matters in the bedroom also.
Yeah, I definitely think that that is phenomenal. And I was watching a Hallmark movie the other day. For those of you all that don't know, I am insanely into Hallmark movies, so I don't care. Say what you need. But I'm a hopeless romantic, and so like one of the things that was said in the Hallmark movies it was like if you love someone so much, you'll let them go, and if it's meant to be, they'll come back, or their paths will cross yours at another season for another reason in your life. And so like I really truly think that like not only things like that mentally, personally for me, but also I would say like sexually as well, because like when you talk about just being able to actually let the flow of things happen. I remember one sexual experience in particular where like I didn't rush into the sex, the penetration, but when we got there, that hands down, that is the best sexual experience that I had. But then I reflect on all the other ones, and I'm like, wow, like I was like thirsty, like I was really like just like going for the kill, like I was sometimes like we always say men say you want to be the hunter rather than the hunted, and that is true to a certain extent. But when you're going into that experience and you just let it flow, like and you just let yourself be, which is a season where I feel like in quarter two now, that's where I'm just gonna be. I'm gonna be patient. I've had a few conversations with a lot of great mentors over the past couple of days. It was just like let yourself be in a state of flow, and be confident about the value you add. Like just right now, that as it flows into something that could happen, like that is more important to me personally than actually taking the initiative to actually to go into that experience thinking that I'm gonna get something sexually out of it. Because and it ruins it for it too. Like I'd rather let the liquid courage or just like take over and just vibe and like relax. Like I feel like that's a better sense and a better vibe too. So everything you're saying is definitely hitting. It's therapy for me. It's erotic therapy. Shout out Dr. Joe.
But and yeah, I'm gonna speak on two things you just said. The the whole letting people go. We as human beings have an issue with ownership. We feel like we own every single thing. We feel like if we are in a relationship, this is mine. They can't go nowhere. When truth be told, everything has a season. So whether your season is 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, or 60 years, it is a season for it. When it's time to go, holding on to it will hurt you more than just releasing it. So we have to learn that even in relationships, I don't care if you hit it off magnificently. If it was amazing, when it's no longer amazing and you have fought and fought and fought for it and you see like this is not getting any better, it's actually getting worse. The more we are together, the worse things be. When you see those things, it's like, okay, maybe we just this it was our season. Like now the season is over and we have to be willing to release things that are no longer serving us. We have to be willing to say like, okay, hey, this is not working, and it's okay. Learn your lesson, enjoy your moments, and move forward, because you will block your blessings, block the next person that's supposed to pour into you because you're holding on to something that you feel like, no, this is mine. I want to stay here. You're not supposed, like, I tell, especially men, because men feel like, oh, she broke my heart, I'm a hoe now. You can't do that. The only thing we got promised is to live, die, and some hurt and pain. Like, we're gonna go through something on this earth, so you cannot block the things that you're gonna go through just simply because you feel like, oh, I'm gonna guard myself. Because guarding yourself is gonna block other things as well. So being open to change, being open to saying, like, I enjoyed this, but we're no longer matched. We don't match anymore. Being able to just release the things that are not serving you, that involves relationships as well. And oh God, I went off on a tangent and I forgot what else I wanted to talk. Oh, letting it flow. So allowing relationships to flow. We go into things and it's like we start dating and it's like we're gonna have sex the first night or the third night. And I don't knock anybody that do that. I have had sex on the first night back in the day. Would I do it now? No, because you realize that it is so much intimacy and tension that is built up when you just wait, when you just get to know each other, when you find other ways to please each other. A lot of times, if you take sex out of a relationship, these people don't even have nothing to talk about. They don't have nothing to connect on. They don't have nothing to do anything on. And it's important to actually build a bond, to build a friendship, to build some type of relationship other than that. Because when you get to that, it's going to be 100% more better. You're going to trust this person. It's hard to receive the pleasure that you actually deserve to receive if you don't even trust the person you with. I heard men say, oh, well, yeah, I got to take my scrap to her house and all of that. You don't even feel safe in that element, so no, you're not feeling no pleasure.
That's crazy.
So it's like,
Crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So you have to make sure that you trust the person you with, that you feel safe, that you feel secure, because that is going to increase the pleasure.
Nah, that's crazy, and I think that there's so many ways that I've been able to, I would say, like you said, take the sexual and physical out of my courtsmanship or my dating or talking to a woman in a way that will allow us to develop intimacy in our own way, but also allow us to be able to just get to know one another. And I'm continuing to grow and develop. I'm still a work in progress. I think one of the things that I was able to do is differentiate for me between physical and sexual. Because as a man living with cerebral palsy and epilepsy, okay, nutrition, exercise, and I'll say like throw meditation in there saved my life. Because if I wasn't able to be the weight and the height that I was because of competitive sports, I wouldn't be able to handle the rigorous flow of just having those seizures when I did. And so I think that is the physical. So I always ask a woman, I'm like, do you believe in exercise and nutrition? Because it's a part of my life that actually keeps me at a mental state of clarity to be able to pour into you sexually. Because I feel as though those are two things that enable me to be able to actually find that balance in that place. I'm reading a book about balance, but I also find it as well that being able to just actually take the time to be alone too, and actually like be at peace. Because like a lot of times people say peace is okay, it's like okay, stay in mind, but like if you're yourself and your thoughts are so loud in your head where you can't think, be productive or effective, like it's like what we talked about, then you going to, you know, that booty call or going to, you know, home to your wife or your husband, it's not going to allow you to actually be at a place of peace where you can be able to flow right into that policy or flow right on that dick. Like, you know, just being able to actually allow yourself to actually take the time to be able to, you know, put in the work. So I'm noticing a difference in how I actually, I would say, speak, how I act, how I think. And that is allowing me to develop better habits, routines, and just a state of flow to be able to get to the point where I'm ready to, you know, be in a relationship.
And that's why I say routine, but not routine, because you have to know what speaks to your partner. So, like, if your partner enjoys you greeting them at the door with a drink and a smile, maybe greet that man or greet that woman at the door with a drink and a smile. Like, people will say, like, oh, well, that's too much. Why do they need all that? Why not? Why, if you know this is important to your partner, why not? If you know When you get home, your partner wants a hug. That physical touch is going to be everything. The physical touch is going to be more important than the sexual touch because it's going to get you there. So if you know they need that hug throughout the day, if you know they need that kiss, if you know they need that smile, if you know they need you to just stand there and be like, you know what, you're beautiful. I just love you. Like, if you know they need that, why not give them something they need so that the relationship can operate smoother? When you learn to be in service to your partner, it is going to flow much more easier. It's going to be easier for you to be intimate. It's going to be easier for you to communicate because I feel safe here. That is the whole point of the physical intimacy, of emotional, mental. I feel safe here. If you don't feel safe here, if you don't feel seen, if you don't feel heard, if you don't feel validated, the sex is going to be whack. I mean, that's it. It's going to be whack. It's never going to be where it's supposed to be because you don't have the other three checked out.
And I would definitely say too as well, women stop like I would say degrading your men too when they're not
Yeah.
attracted to you mentally or emotionally. Like a lot of women I would say, like, and I'm not coming from women, but sometimes women might assume or presume that their man or the man that they're dating is attracted to them because of their just how they look. Like
Look,
for real,
yeah.
like take the time to like read a book or learn and just like actually be
And it's
able to like have
important
a
to ask your
conversation.
partner that, like,
Yeah,
why are you here?
not
Like, what
for sure.
attracted you to me other than this physical component? Because if it's nothing else, if we can't hold a conversation, if I can't come to you with my ideas and they flow out and you be like, yeah, they do sound good. Okay, do you want to do this? Okay, help me out. Then it's not gonna matter. Women, we create. The same way a man can tear you down physically, your mouth speaks life into this man.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are downgrading him, if you are coming at him, if you are nice, nasty with him, you are slowly tearing him down. And even though he may never say one single word, just know you are slowly tearing that man down. And it's going to get to the point where he's not going to be attracted to you in no way because your mouth has took him there. So you always get better things when you talk to them with some type of sense. Like, I know common sense ain't common, but you have to learn to talk to your men in a way that you would want to be actually talked to, that you would want to be spoken to. Allow them to communicate their feelings. They make mistakes too, and allow them to know that it's okay because we live in a society where it's never been okay for a man to make a mistake, especially a black man. Oh, what you mean you can't get it done? What you mean you can't do this? He can't do it. Okay, baby, you can't do it. How can I assist you in doing this? How can I assist you in making your day better? How can I take some of the stress that's on you off? Because I know you're out here fighting for your life. But in the same sense, they have to return that favor. So, like, if you have a woman that's speaking life into you, that's believing in all of your dreams, that when you give her an egg, she give you a chicken. When you give her a chicken, she give you an egg, something like that. Like, you have to make sure that you are pouring into her as well. You have to make sure that you are speaking life into her as well. You have to make sure that you are showing her that you are appreciative, because a woman will follow a man that deserves to be followed. So if she sees that, okay, he got ideas, he got things that I can actually help him create, guess what she's gonna do? Help you create it. And in that sense, you return the favor with, hey, you is helping me out. Like, you're really helping me. I really appreciate you. I wouldn't be this far without you. Because yeah, men have the ideas, but the women actually create it. Like, when it comes to the baby, she gotta push it out.
Yeah,
Women,
and I go ahead. I'm
no,
sorry.
women are just they are gonna maximize a man's life. It's always gonna be like that. The right woman. If you have the wrong woman, she's gonna tear that life apart. Everything that you built is gonna go to Hades because you have the wrong woman. So making sure you pick a woman that is what you need. Now, when I say the mouth thing, some men may like their woman to talk a little greasy to them, but it's only a little greasy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't come at me and call me no BAN or nothing like that, because no, we ain't rolling like that. But you can be like, babe, what is you doing? Like, they need that. But some men also need you to be like, babe, listen to me. I need you to do such and such. I need you to do such and such. I know this is this and this. You have to read the room, know your partner. It all goes back to knowing your partner and what they're gonna need.
I definitely, you said so, you dropped so many gems, and I appreciate you. This is why you all need to tune into Erotic Therapy every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really wanted to tap into just being, I would say, me personally, allowing a woman to actually stand alongside me. I've seen around me so many times when men that have come before me have, I wouldn't say like they've worked their, oh yeah, worked their ass off to be able to lead, and they are in general leaders. But I've always come from a standpoint that it's, I want my woman to have a voice because of what you just said, because her like women birth visions. I had a unique experience with my mom where umbilical cords were wrapped around my neck in her womb. So I would always want my woman to have a voice. I would always want her to be able to voice her vision, and I would want to be the one that works 10 times as hard to be able to make that vision become plain. So I've always seen that as being my initiative to be able to take and lead and my motive. And so I always find it attractive when a woman finds that sense or that attribute in me. And I think being able to operate within that state of flow, allow a woman to actually recognize that attribute within me, will be able to then in return ignite the erotic state of my being as well. Because right now it's a stagnant state where I'm just writing about it, to be able to allow those fantasies or that spice kind of be able to live in that state of being. Because right now I'm not in that being where like it's the energy that I'm seeing from the women that I'm interacting with outside of business. It's not it. Like personally, like the women that I know or that I'm meeting, besides a few, that it's just that the mindset is not there. So I really want to be able to allow a woman to be able to have her own platform, have her own voice, elevate and amplify her voice to the point where when we're standing alone, when we're standing alongside each other, we're climbing up a mountain and we're able to get in the trenches in the mud and be able to build together. So I definitely love that fact of being able to elevate a woman and allow me to talk to them in a way that empowers them and encourages them, not degrades them.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you said that, because not all men are gonna need and want the same. So you have more so like men who they need to be the spotlight, but you also have men like you who don't need it. It's more so knowing what a person needs and what you need as a woman, because you do have some stronger women that's gonna be like, okay, no, I do need you to stand behind me in this aspect. I do need you to do this. I do need you to do that. But you also had women that's like, no, I play the back, you play the front. So not trying to mesh things that don't go together. Like we have a tendency of trying to be with people who we have nothing in common with. Like we just clashing.
I would say this. So I would say that me, I can definitely say that I want my woman to acknowledge my value and my worth. And
Mm-hmm.
I want, as a natural born entrepreneur, I want to be able to allow my target audience to know who is the engine behind that drive, if that analogy makes sense. So I want, hence the term ghostwriting. Like everything that I want to be able to stand behind that great entrepreneur or beside that great entrepreneur. Same thing I want in a personal life. I want to be known as an engine. I want my woman to acknowledge it, or my platform that like I'm putting blood, sweat, and tears into. I want that to be able to just be something that is off of my foundation. And I feel like I have been able to. I want to be able to like just allow others to see the work that I put into. And I think that there's so many times where like I would say being that center of attention, it can definitely kind of, you can get caught or lost in the lights. So me personally, I just want that woman to acknowledge the effort and the value. And I would say as she amplifies that with her voice, because women naturally speak more than men. I don't know a single man that wants to speak more than a woman naturally. Or the man will just bow out. Like I really want to just be that, like that I would say that that source, that plug where she can plug into and get the energy. So I feel like even, just not being a spotlight, but just allowing her to be the drive and me to be the engine that kind of continues to allow her to keep going.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just finding somebody that works for you. So like you said, a lot of people, we weren't taught a whole lot of things. So growing up, most people were not taught how to be in a relationship. They were not taught the importance of a relationship. We weren't taught anything. We weren't taught how to really love each other. Was not taught that we were valuable. We were not taught that how to love another person, how to love ourselves. We wasn't taught any of that. So we're going in with people who really don't know anything. And that's why it's retraining your mind to know that, okay, this is going to be different than what I thought it was going to be. And understanding that that's okay. This is not going to work like grandma and grandpa because it's not supposed to. Grandma and grandpa had totally different troubles. There was a totally different time. Like, it's never going to work like that because we have grown and we are somewhere else. So it's figuring out what is going to work best for you and your partner. When my couples come to me, it's not what I feel is best. What do y'all feel is best for y'all? Like, what is working, what is not working? What do you need improvement on? What do you need to compromise on? It's not what's going to work for me. What's going to work for Barack and Obama is not going to work for Remy and Papoose. Like, it's not like it's going to
Or
be two different
Jay-Z
things.
and Hove. I mean, Jay-Z and
Jay-Z
Beyonce.
and Beyonce, yeah.
Yep.
So like you're not gonna find the same exact thing that someone else has found, but it is very important to make sure that you find what is best for you and your partner. Stop trying to mimic. If your man don't want to be in the front, stop trying to push him. Stop trying to say, oh, I need you to leave me, I need you to do this. Maybe that's not his calling. You have men that their calling is to actually come up under you and float you and throw you and slingshot you, but you too busy thinking that because society said men ought to lead or women ought to be in the kitchen cooking. If your wife don't like to cook, how you gonna put in the kitchen? Get that lady a chef and let her do what she's great at.
Man, hey, I don't know about you all, but I need these conversations every week, bro. Like, this is something that I look forward to because it's more so for me, it is genuine therapy. I mean, I learned so much from just being able to position myself with men and women that just can be able to educate and empower, but also encourage. And so I love when I hear the gems that you speak, and be able to consider, how I've been productive mid to this date, midweek, and then how I can carry out to reach the weekend and be able to reach my goals and my aspirations. I do want to ask you this question. In terms of your brand, Erotic Expectations, what are your Q2 goals and I would say aspirations that you're looking to reach?
My quarter two goals are just to continue to bring exposure to my brand. I do have a sip and paint coming up for my ladies at the end of April. In May, I'm trying to put together a couples session where we're going to go through, I'm going to take about 5 or 6 couples and we're going to go through sensuality, all 5 of the senses. I want it to be actually, we're going to have dinner and all of that together. So that is what I'm working on in quarter two.
Do they got
as far
to
as the
be
summer,
exclusive, or can they be dating? And is this in person or is this virtual?
it is in person, so it'll be in North Carolina.
Okay. Do
And
they
no,
gotta be Do they gotta be exclusive
no,
couples, or can
if
I
they,
bring a date? I can bring a
yeah,
date.
you can bring a date.
All
If
right,
you
so I'm
just
gonna pop out and bring a date. I'm gonna
yeah,
see, if I can make that happen.
yeah, it don't have to be married couples. You don't have to be together forever. If you are dating and you're trying to figure each other out, this will be perfect for you.
Hey, what's up with an in-person collab then? Like, we can do something that much.
Yeah.
Like, because I already, so I've been working on some things that, like, I definitely think that this, seeing like the interactions and the comments and just the overall the engagement from these conversations, people loving it. They loving it.
That's good. I'm glad, and I enjoy these moments as well. I enjoy being able to support, being able to talk.
Yeah,
Anytime I
you
can
ain't
help
you ain't
people.
stopped cheesing since the conversation started.
Yeah, anytime, and that is part of my brand, like my smile, like when you said peace is just like anything around you. Like people come around me and be like, it's just peaceful. Like I can just talk to you about anything because I exude that energy. So peace is like the energy that you give out, the energy within. It's how you feel about yourself. You can be peaceful in a chaotic situation because you know who
Mm-hmm.
you are.
Say that one
So
more time. I need to hear that. I don't care who's watching this right now. I needed to hear that. Say
you
that one
can
more
be
time now.
you can be peaceful in a chaotic situation because you are at peace with yourself. You know who you are. You know what you stand on. You know what you're about. So your peace cannot be taken from you. Just like when people come to you, your reaction is your reaction. Like a person cannot make you act out any way. If you don't want to act that way, don't act that way. Don't give anyone that amount of power over you to say, oh yeah, I had them acting like this. No, this is me, accept it and love it, or just don't come around me. So yeah, those are my quarter two goals. Just exposure and continue to build my brand, continue to work with beautiful people, beautiful couples, beautiful women. I just want to pour, like I really want to save the family. So I just want to pour and build and just help people create healthy relationships and have amazing sex.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I love that. I love that for you, and I definitely think that this is the start of something great because, for those of you all that don't know, I have the opportunity to work with, a partner on in the adult content industry in terms of like actual adult content, explicit content. And then on Wednesdays, I have this opportunity to have like the conversation and verbalize how that might look. And it's a great dynamic that provides a unique portfolio that I want to extend and pour into. And so I definitely would love to be able to, I would say, like highlight some of the things that you're doing and be able to show people how your perspective and what you were attempting to do and pour into the families, the couples. And I want to be able to elevate that voice because I think that there's ways for you writers like myself that look like me to be able to elevate voices like yours that are able to just I would say captivate an audience and captivate a room. So I'm super excited to just have this opportunity to forge conversations with you over an hour span and be able to see what it can build into. I can't wait to write a blog or a short story about this and be able to get your feedback. So I'm super excited to be able to just curate these vibes. I want to know too, what do you think about while I have you, what do you think about like the graphics that I've been posting for the erotic therapy sessions that we have? What do you think about that kind of like aesthetic? I like the couch play, like
Yeah,
people sit on couches
yeah.
for therapy and stuff like that. So I wanted to get a real time reaction because I know I was going to ask you over conversation, but that's really dope. And then I was thinking about like my blog, the Build brand, that being like the behind the scenes thing, so I can push some more awareness over there too as well. So I'm super excited. Like I love the people to see the vulnerability and transparency. So for those of you that don't know, the erotic therapy session is kind of ended. We kind of like behind like the scenes about to conclude now, but I definitely want are you okay with giving that weekly tip and then being able
Yeah,
for
I
that tip
am.
to
I can definitely do the weekly tip. Especially when it comes to sex. Sex is a more exploring thing. Now, when it comes to relationships, you can tip a relationship, but as well, you have to create a plan surrounded around that specific relationship.
mm,
So when it comes to actually creating the healthy part of the relationship, that's gonna be more 101. Of course, I can tell you the plain version, but if you want something that's really gonna be catered to you and your partner, that's gonna be more of a 101 thing. With the sexual thing, I can give you a tip and you can explore it. If you want some extra help exploring, of course we can do one-on-ones for that as well. But like the tip that I gave, writing stuff down, if you don't have any fantasies, if you feel like me and my partner has ran out of everything that we desire to do, and now I don't know what else to do, please go to my website and grab Spice Up Your Sex Life. It is over 100 positions in there. It is multiple ways to incorporate foreplay, multiple ways to spice things up. It's massages. It's everything is in there. And I'm telling you, for the rest of this year and probably on to the next 2 or 3, you're gonna have things to try. Because keep in mind, when it comes to sex, you should always try it more than one time, because it's always going to be more pleasure that you can get out of it if you continuously try, because it's going to be different ways that you can move, different ways that you can come in, more arousal. Everything is going to change when you're having sex. So go
I
grab
love that.
that
I love that.
course.
So this is what
Yeah,
we're
go.
gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. I want you to text me that link. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pin it in my bio, because we go
Okay.
live on this page every Wednesday. And then what I want us to do moving forward, I want to ask you this question, in terms of how people can transition from the live to your Patreon to support. Like, I think that the sex positions on your Patreon, is it an ebook or is it like a
No,
guidebook?
no. Okay, so the Spice Up Your Sex
Oh,
Life is an actual course.
okay,
So that is going to be something that they going to have videos in there. It's PDFs. It's a whole lot of
got you,
stuff. Like, I'm a more talking person, so
got
I'm
you.
going to be talking to you. Dirty talk is in there. All of
Okay,
that is in there. Now, the
got you.
Patreon is where I am currently teaching the sex languages in the month of
Okay,
April. So
okay,
if you do want to join my Patreon and learn the sex languages one by one, me teaching them, you can do that. But I also sell that as a course. So if you are in my Patreon, you get added bonuses of some months I will teach a actual course in there, and you get to see me actually teach it. You'll be able to ask questions. You'll be able to do all of that. Opposed, some people
okay.
just like give me the course so I can do it on my own time. I can go through it in a
All
week
right.
or something like that.
Let me
So yeah.
let me ask you this: do you have straight audio with no picture, and do you have note templates? Like, so what I'm thinking is that the tip that you give can be like on a weekly basis on Instagram. I can repurpose that into like a one sheeter with straight notes, and then you can also have an audio that goes with that. And the more forms and ways the people to consume content in an explicit or implicit, like, or just like a professional and then an explicit way from Instagram to Patreon, will allow them to learn in different ways. Because some people like to just listen without looking. Some people like to read, and everything like that. So I'm just thinking about different ways that I can repurpose this content for you, that you can either put on Patreon. We can link in the Instagram bio here, and that way that transition from Instagram to Patreon is smoother when we are incorporating the erotic therapy piece.
So as far as my courses, they are they do have the note templates as well as the audio and the video. So they do have that. When it comes to my Instagram, no, I don't do the little notes or anything like that. So if you want to do that for our lives, that'll be cool.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. What I can do is I can take these Instagram lives and the tip, and then I can go ahead and like basically repurpose it into some notes for you all, that is basically stemming from our conversation. And then I'll link it in the bio on this page, and I'll tag erotic expectations, and then that way you'll be able to kind of just get that smooth transition from live to link in the bio. And then of course, when you all are joining these lives every week, I really want you all to go follow Erotic Expectations, go follow her on Patreon, and just go support this phenomenal woman, phenomenal mother, phenomenal just overall businesswoman. She's a queen and a boss, moving in so many ways, and I really am looking forward to amplifying her voice. So I just want to yield the floor to you. You can give closing remarks, and then we can, kind of, conclude.
Okay. Well, yeah. Make sure if you did not.
Got a call coming in.
Make sure that if you no, for some, I reset my phone and that has a limit on my my social media time, and I need to go in there and change it, but I ain't changed
That's good
it.
though. That's good that you limit
Yeah.
that. I like that.
Yeah. So if you have not did the tip and you are in a relationship, make sure you do that tip. If you are not in a relationship, I still want you to write down 3 of your sexual fantasies. I still want you to try to, even if it's just with yourself, because this is gonna, when you're single, it's the perfect time to explore your body. So write down 3 things that you can do to explore your body and put a date on them. So just because you're not in a relationship do not mean that you cannot do these exercises, because it is super important to know thyself. Know yourself. Know what your body needs. Know which part of your clitoris is the most intense part. So knowing all of these things about yourself is going to help you in a relationship. So definitely make sure that you do these tips, okay? It is super important. We all say what we want to be better at. We all say what we want to do, but we never do it. We just be talking. So don't be one of those people who just be talking about, oh, I want my relationship to be better. I want my sex life to be better. And you're not doing anything to push that further along.
Right.
Okay? Make sure you follow me. My link is in my bio to join the Patreon, to book a 101, to view my courses. You can hop on my email list. I send out great things through my email list. So just stay connected, and continue to join me in the movement. And I look forward to working with you all one day.
And that's great. That's great. And guys, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to repurpose this live into a unique set of notes and outlines, and I would say homework assignments, until we meet again next Wednesday for Erotic Therapy on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can get the notes and the homework assignments and the links to her Patreon and to all the things that she has. I'm going to put it in that document. It's going to be the one pager that you can get in the link in my bio. That document will be posted every Friday. So moving on forward, from Wednesday to Wednesday, you will have the live on Wednesday. You will have the tip the video tip on Monday or Tuesday, leading to the live on Wednesday. That Friday, you will have that document posted with the notes and the homework assignments for next Wednesday. And then we just going to keep flowing from there. I want you all to definitely tap into Coach Kima on Patreon and just follow her movement. This is, like I said, phenomenal woman that is doing amazing things. So we have to be able to support our women and our culture that are doing phenomenal things. So I'm super excited. For those of you all that don't know me, my name is Jeremy Wade. I am the erotic ghostwriter, founder of J&J Erotic Vibes here on Instagram, content creator. Super excited to curate these conversations every week. Friday, we got Fantasy Fridays coming with a special guest. Go back, check my lives if you missed it last week. I'm loving what, I'm evolving into as a man. Just super excited to position myself as a student and a lifelong learner. So appreciate you all that are supporting me. And I can't wait to see you all next week. Coach Kima, thank you so much for everything you've done. I really look forward to learning from you. And I really look forward to just everything that is to come.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys all have a great day.
All right. You too.
All right.